And I am your host. I am Jessica Koch. You know it. We are giving you yet another Profound Professionals show. This is an interview series that has been running for 8 years. OMG, blow my socks off. Can you believe it? I can't believe it either. And you have been lovingly following, liking, sharing, watching, commenting. You are rock stars. We love having you here, and we're so grateful every time you share. You just never know whose live you will touch, because we bring you industry experts from all across the globe, and they help improve your personal life or grow your business so that you can live the life and the purpose that you were meant to. And you can live a life of freedom and joy and benefiting others in the community. And we will talk about that benefit, because you know we do. Today, we have two brilliant guests. We have Tom with the hair. We love him the hair. He is an HR strategy consultant with the belief that people are what make organizations work. And I cannot agree more with that. And just wait. Tom is excellent. He's great. He's amazing. But Kim, OMG, Kim helps individuals and business owners achieve financial freedom through productive plan design. Yes, you heard it. Productive plan design, using cost reduction, debt elimination. Oh, that's a nice one. Tax strategies, and so much more. We will get to talk about some of the more very soon. So welcome, Tom and Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes. So Tom, tell us how you got into this deep passion and decided, this is why I'm here. I am here to make everyone know people matter most. This is what matters, the people.
Well, I am a people person by nature. I love being social. When I was in school, I was in trouble all the time for being the kid who talked too much to his classmates. So I have always enjoyed interacting with people. And as I got older and started to develop my career, I realized that there was an opportunity to leverage that interest in other people with the work that I do. And I'm lucky enough now to be able to work with organizations on helping set the people function up in a way that it can actually engage with employees and improve their experience so that they're motivated to show up every day and be their best selves for the organization.
I love that. So what was a little bit of your journey of before you got into this? So a little bit of what you did, or how you decided, okay, now it's time to go off on my own and do this to support organizations full time. What was a little bit of your back journey?
Yeah, so I am trained in change management, of all things. And what is change management if not people management? Their emotions of dealing with any sort of change. And so that background in education is what really framed my mind around the difference that it can make to work with companies to help them actually structure themselves and their services in a way that show up well for their employees. And with, especially now as we're into 2024, the pace of change is only accelerating, it seems like, with every month. And so that notion of combining change management with helping organizations see the value of their employees and see how they can help them kind of just naturally combined into a career that I'm lucky that has blossomed in the last decade or so.
Well, you are definitely inspiring all of us, and including Kim. Man, she's taking notes like crazy. So she must be hanging on your every word. OMG. And that stands for, oh my goodness, in my world, in case you're watching and wanted to know. So what you're doing with people is so powerful. And then Kim on her journey one day woke up and said, all right, that's enough already, everyone. I'm tired of seeing these business owners and individuals fall on their face, not have any money in their bank account, not have any time freedom, and not have a life. And I'm going to fix this. Tell us, Kim, about your journey and how you decided enough is enough, and this is what I'm going to do.
So a lot of this stemmed from the COVID situation, where I saw a lot of small business owners struggling, a lot of my clients having to shut their doors. and just in general, not being able to sustain a business that they've had their entire life. And it was sad to see. And, that's how my business started, because I wanted to help those small business owners. I've been working with, small business owners for 15 years now. And, when I saw what was happening, it truly hit my heart that, I don't want to see these people losing their business. And I believe they're the backbone of this country, small business owners. And I never, had that place for large corporations, because I worked in them for years, and I saw that, people didn't really matter. It was just about numbers. So I really wanted to put myself out there and help these people really sustain their business and, keep it going. I think that was so important, and then that stretched out to individuals, because I went through a life-changing event myself and found myself having to start all over again. And, found ways to be able to be a single mom and do all the things that, to be able to sustain a lifestyle for myself and my kids. So that was one of the big reasons why, I started helping individuals as well.
I love that. So talk to us a little bit when a client comes to you. Obviously, one of the feelings they're having is there's just not enough revenue for the time, effort, and work they're putting into what they're doing. And they just don't really, maybe they're really good at how they coach and help and transform others' lives, but they're just not really good at running operations of a business. That is not a gift or a knowledge or training all of us have. And so they come to you with this pain, whether they're individuals or business owners. And what is the next step? What is their journey with you? Do you have a one-on-one discovery call? Do you have group programs? Is it an online course? Take us through some of the experience your clients have.
So basically, the most important part is understanding how your business runs. And so many business owners, and this works for individuals as well, is that they don't understand their finances. They don't understand how to manage those finances. They don't look at the bottom line. They just look at the day to day and, making money. That's what so many business owners are focused on, is just making the money. They don't realize, so many clients that I talk to, they're like, well, I don't know where all my money's going to. Well, did you ever sit down and see where all your expenses are? What you're spending your money on? We can spend every day trying to make money, but if you don't have careful management of that money, it doesn't really matter how much you make, because it's just going to go out the door. So having that one-on-one discovery is so important, because, we don't just look at one piece. We look at, every aspect of their business and see where their money's going, see how they're spending their money, see what they're doing with their employees. Are they keeping their employees happy? Are they offering the things they need to offer? All these things are so important in order to have a successful business. And if you're not really conscious of that, that's where a lot of businesses fail, because they're so focused on making money, and they just, it's time aspect as well. So I don't have time to look at that. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. But those are the most important things.
It's true. It's very true. So you do this one-on-one. Is your whole relationship with a customer one-on-one in your design because of the intimacy of the finances, or is there some group aspect to it, or is there online course pieces to it? How are you delivering the product and service that you're providing to them?
So there's a couple ways. So I have a podcast as well. I have a tagline. It's called Money Multiplier. So I do a podcast a couple times a month, and I highlight different strategies, because I work with different partners who offer. Obviously, I can't do everything myself, so I accumulated referral partners who I utilize to do different strategies depending on the specific situation that I'm dealing with. So having these different strategies and having these referral partners who are experts in their field, we're able to have those conversations with those people. So it's not always a one-on-one. I'm bringing people in, directing them to a podcast. I'm directing them. I do seminars sometimes. I'll do webinars, things like that. Just focusing on specific topics and things that might be particularly interesting to them that would help their business. So we do have many tools that they can utilize to help understand the goals we're trying to achieve for them. So having that opportunity to have these different people on board, just broadens my the business and things that I can offer to these business owners that a lot of other places aren't able to do that because they only focus on one thing.
And we're so excited that you're here and sharing this and that you guys are watching. And now remember, wherever you're watching, because this is being pushed many, many places, in the description, in the comments, in a custom article, there will be specific to Kim ways to find when are her next workshops or webinars coming up, when is her podcast, the link to her podcast, all the ways to reach both Tom and Kim will be included in our comments. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Tom, I want to ask you, so for your program with HR, is it specifically to businesses and organizations that have large teams of people? So you're talking about like the mid and larger size corporations as kind of your ideal customer?
Yeah, that's correct. Myself and my team, we work with several mid to large size multinational firms that have established processes and structures and things of that nature. And the goal is really there are so many organizations that still treat HR as more of a personnel department, traditional kind of 80s and 90s style thinking, where trying to get them to see is the HR function is the people function. And so it's responsible for setting up so many programs and policies that affect people. And there's a way to do it in a much more strategic, forward-looking design that allows employees to have a great feeling and a great experience by working at an organization that shows it cares about people because of the way it treats people, because of the way it rewards them, both financially and non-financially. And one of the big things that we really look to is by helping address all those things, you can then get the people who are in the function of HR to focus on more things like growing their leaders and helping leaders to actually grow their own styles and be more self-aware. And those things that are going to be needed to be successful from this point going forward with all of the changes and dynamics that are in place in today's working world.
But I see your industry and your business and the service you're providing, as fabulous as it is, a harder and more educational sell, because if you're reaching directly out to that HR person, that can be almost like I'm not doing my job well, so I need Tom to come in, and that can seem invasive and scary and concerning, because then maybe I'm being evaluated as not being the best I can be for the company. And then the other thing is, I'm wondering, do you get reached out to because sometimes they don't know they have this problem, and I would imagine some of the indicators are there's a really high turnover rate and they're not able to hold on to their talent or attract the highest level talent in their industry base. And I'm wondering if it isn't also sometimes the CFO who is seeing the financial loss that equates to this high turnover, and then identifies to say, hey, here's the problem. So is it typically the HR or a CFO, or who's reaching out to you? And then what is it that helps them say, okay, uncle, we need an outside support to come in and do this? Because for Kim, it's kind of a no-brainer. I'm working 500 million hours a week, and I'm almost doing it for free, because as the money comes in, it goes out just as fast. What's happening here? And that's a pain that will kick you in the butt to go find a Kim. But I'm wondering, from a business standpoint, from a larger organizations, they already have team and support and an HR department. What is it that pushes their button hard and pinches them hard enough to say, we have a problem and we need some outside support? What are kind of some of the factors that happen with that?
Yeah, you're 100% on the direction of both questions. Certainly, we are always very aware that when we do come in and work with teams that are existing and in place, that we are coming at them and approaching them in a way to say, this is not a decision on your previous performance necessarily. It's more, let's have a conversation about reality, which is that a lot of times we're dealing with organizations that have garnered several years of success over the course of time. But what our message is really around what got you here is not going to get you there. And we have to keep growing and continually learning and improving. And we just happen to work with a lot of organizations that have done this well, and we've helped them. So now we would like to share that with you and see how we can make that work for you. So we are very conscientious right away in the beginning to say, hey, look, this is not like a cost-cutting measure. This isn't about placing blame or anything like that. It's more of, hey, we're getting ready to go into Q2 of the 21st century. We just need to think about people differently than maybe we did in that first quarter of the 21st century. And it's okay to just acknowledge it and move ahead without placing blame or anything like that.
Well, okay, go ahead. No,
I was just going to say the second piece of it, then, to your point too, is that's one of the things that we really stress is that HR needs to be in lockstep with the CFO and with finance, because if you can get them on board and get them to be an ally of what you're trying to do from a people strategy perspective, having that ally is going to be more valuable than any consultancy you could bring in or anything like that. So we really stress that as part of what we call stakeholder engagement, that we're bringing finance along in this journey as well to help guide those financial decisions, so that it's not doing it alone. It's more of, hey, we're building partnerships, and this is everyone's role to be concerned about the people of this organization, so that, to Kim's point, we don't treat them just like numbers on a page, but we treat them as the talent that we sought to acquire back when we hired them, and we want to just leverage that talent and then grow it. And so it's kind of just about setting that contextual piece. And we found that once we do that and we get people to really buy into that vision, it makes it a much smoother process, because then they really bought it.
I can't understand how HR and CFOs wouldn't be working so tightly, because it is the highest expense for most companies, and the turnover. There's so many studies and research on turnover being just outrageously adding to the expense and loss of profit in dollars in an organization. So just one last question on this, because I'm sure as you work with an organization, you come in, you do an evaluation, you do, you do that kind of debrief, and then you dig in with the programs that are appropriate for that team and that company. But I'm wondering, and my guess is that your highest draw in for new clients is referral partners of clients that you've already worked with or shown some great success for. But I'm wondering too, are you speaking at HR national associations and organizations, CFO national organization associations, or being invited into even a specific corporate conference, their annual conference for leadership and expansion training? Like what is the way that you're walking in to most of these organizations to start new projects and new clients?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a multitude of avenues that we go down because of where the people aspect is of interest to everyone, right? Because, to your point, it's the biggest expense. You don't have people, that kind of thing. So the firm that I work for, the Hackett Group, we have an advisory arm that studies best practices and creates case studies out of clients that we've worked with in the past. And then they actually represent us both at our own company held conferences, as well as some of the larger national HR conferences.
Yeah.
And what that really does is allow us just because we don't come at it from I'll say a straight up sales perspective. Our goal is to share information, get people talking, get people interested in this. And then once we can do that, it's okay, now let's sit down and have a conversation about where you're at in this journey and how can we meet you where you're at. So we tend to approach it more from that, share the information that we know, and let's see who finds it interesting, and we'll just continue to have conversations and take it from there.
There's some fantastic, I would definitely suggest to your team, there's some fantastic national associations for specific industries, CFOs. So, for example, universities and colleges across the country, there is a conference that is really directed to that finance director and CFO. And hospitals have specific ones for their CFOs. I think I would include that and add that to what you're doing from an HR standpoint, because if you can get the ear of the CFO, then building a relationship and walking into the team from an HR standpoint is a much easier process. There's also some great, the hospitals also even have, and actually universities as well, have group purchasing, and a lot of these industries too, manufacturers and different kinds of organizations like that, have collaborative purchasing organizations that they go to, and then they scan through and say, okay, we need pencils, we need this, we need HR consulting, we need whatever, and reaching out and getting involved in those organizations as a standalone, but also seeing who currently holds the contractors, already got the relationship within those group buying to be a support and a subcontractor and an extension arm is another great avenue, I think, for your organization to take and grow, because you do have such a challenging sale. You're educating them on the fact that they need you and that it is a threat to have you come in, right?
Right.
Now, the CFO can typically see it if you can present it to them in dollars and cents. But the HR person, this is a very personal, internal step. And so brand new HR director is going to be your hotter, in my opinion, client, because they want to walk in the door and look like a rock star. But someone who's been there a very, very long time can be a challenge. I'll give everyone watching a trick and a tip. I did a lot of work directly to in sales to CFOs nationally throughout the country for many, many years. That was one of the things that I did for other organizations I worked for in the past. And one of the best things I ever figured out was setting up a Google alert to an email that you don't want to check every day, by the way, that said brand new CFO, new CFO. And every time there was a press release throughout the country about a new CFO, I had that new CFO, where they came from, where the other old guy went to. I had 3 potential opportunities for a client who was the hottest and most open to hear me, because we did, Kim will appreciate this, cost reduction. It was an auditing firm I worked for, and they did things, they looked at things like water, gas, electric, phones, trash removal, and they found contract compliance, billing errors, and refunds for them based on their performance with different vendors that they were getting services from. And so that was what I did for a very, very long time as the speaker for that organization. And so that hopefully will be some helpful advice to you, Tom, to bring in some new customers. I don't normally run the show this way. I just couldn't help myself because I happen to know that's a big deal. So, Kim, I'm going to put you on the spot. You want to help people grow their profit. You want to help them get into this financial freedom. Everyone is listening. Their ears are perked. What is something they can do today as an individual in their family expenses or as a business owner to really get past just shy of breaking even? They're making a little bit of sad, pathetic money for all the hours they're putting in, and all the rest is going to run and pay for the software and pay for all the things and all the people and all the stuff that you need to do to be a professional business nowadays. How do you help them? What's a good tip we can give them?
So a good tip is really to just be aware of what you're spending your money on. That's the most important thing here, right? You need to know what you're spending your money on. And I do this exercise, especially with my individuals. I said, put a notebook in your car for a whole week and write down every single thing you spend money on that week, whether it's coffee at Starbucks or your lunch or your breakfast, or right. And then and for your month, write down every single bill that you pay out, everything, no matter what it is, whether it's your food or it's, your payroll, whatever it may be, whether you're a business owner or an individual, write everything down and have it in front of you so you can actually see where your money's going. Because so many times, especially as individuals, we're out on the road and, we get hungry, we go have lunch, or, I want to go to Starbucks and I want to spend $8 on a cup of coffee when I could have made the coffee at home for 50 cents. Right. So if we take all that knowledge and we put it all together, and I say at the end of the week, I spent $100 on food, or, I stopped doing takeout, right? I just make my food, right? And I very limit the amount of time, because we know everything now is super expensive. Everything. We go to the supermarket you spend $100, you got one bag of groceries, right? It doesn't,
crazy.
it's sad. It really is. And it's only getting worse. And, all these things are looming over our head. And it's, again, for businesses and individuals, the recession and all these, things that are looming and all the uncertainties that we're all facing. And, we're trying to prepare people for what's to come, right? We can't just live for the moment. So if you really take a step back, it doesn't take long either. Take a step back and really understand where your money is going, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can give you an example. Like I was paying $300 a month for my cell phone bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is ridiculous. Why am I spending $300, right? So I shopped it out and I ended up saving myself $150. Now that $150 I can take and do something with that. It's actually making money for me instead of just getting thrown out the window and sent to the phone company, or, health insurance. Health insurance is broken in this country, especially for small business owners. And, they're paying astronomical amounts of money. And same with entrepreneurs, self-employed. I have clients paying $2,000 a month for their health insurance. That's a mortgage payment. It's a mortgage payment. So we found alternate strategies to be able to lower that amount of money. So if I save you $1,000 on your health insurance, that $1,000 can better be served someplace else than handing it over to the insurance company. So it's just about being creative and understanding that there are other things out there that you can utilize that are going to help you. And, Tom's an HR person. He knows this better than anybody. And you were talking about, retaining employees. It's so important to be able to offer. It's not only just income. It's not only their salary. It's the benefits. Benefits are huge, right? If you offer them a comprehensive benefit plan that might not even cost you as a business owner that much, because we have many plans that you can offer to your employees at no cost to you, right? At no cost to the business owner. But yet employees find that valuable, and they find it to be like, okay, they care about me. They want me to stay here. They want me to be, here in this, because they're offering me all these things where the guy down the road isn't offering those things. Even though he's offering me a little more salary, the benefits outweigh that sometimes, because they need that for their family, because they know if they have to do that on their own, it's super expensive. So us having that ability to offer those strategies and offer those solutions to them is really helping people really lower their income, their expenses. And, from an HR perspective as well, a lot of companies are outsourcing positions, right? They're outsourcing things that, like an HR position, right? They can outsource to somebody and not have to pay benefits, not have to pay a huge salary, and you really cut their expenses down, not to take away jobs from anybody, but in this day, you have to be more conscious of where you're, how you're spending your money. And even if you want to keep people on staff and you want to have all these people, sometimes it's not possible and just it's not cost effective.
Right. And even having like a social media manager or a communications experts on your team, having, and I'll plug myself, a virtual assistant, that we have a virtual assistant membership program, if you don't know already, and having that person support tasks that would just be busy work and time consuming, and then having them do the final evaluation and review just brings and lifts the organization so very much. So the tip I heard from Kim was know your numbers, and then when you are able to reduce some of those expenses, putting that money to work for you, so that it can be making more money. You want your money working hard for you. So Tom, when people invest, so we talked about the expense they lose with high turnover rate, but truly there's another hidden expense when someone doesn't feel cared about, like Kim is mentioning, with benefits and leadership training and investing in their knowledge and really caring about what that employee actually cares about, like what motivates them and learning that. you end up with an employee who does just the basics, just the bare minimum. When no one's looking, they are getting through the work, they're pushing they're checking their email, they're doing the thing, and they can't wait to get off and leave. Right. And when you really invest in someone and care about them, some of the ways that Kim was talking about, and some of the ways that I know your organization is an expert in, Tom, of making them feel high valued, you can ignite their excitement and passion and the mission and vision of the company. You can excite them with what the company is doing on a bigger scale within the community and helping the world in general. And you can excite them by making them feel valuable and appreciated and invested in, and they will work harder for you than ever before, as if they owned the business. When you can make an employee feel like they have ownership in the business and all of the things that the company is accomplishing, then you have such a financial asset, and you are losing massive dollars when you don't have a team that's got that mindset. So I want a great tip from you now, Tom, if you could share one.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I mean, you're spot on with everything that you said, and what Kim was saying as well around you making sure that employees feel that appreciation, not only feel it in the words, but in the actions, right? Providing good quality benefits and things like that. So to address that, one thing I would say is that we work with organizations when we talk to them and we say, look, there's still a tendency to think of these things as static things like benefits, right? It's a once a year thing. The world's changing too fast anymore. So you need to be able to have that agility and a flexibility to meet employees where they're having issues, right? 4 years ago, we weren't having the inflation concerns that we are now. So an organization's going to meet employees where they're at, then they've got to have plans that can kind of flex and adjust with those real world dynamics. And that goes to where my piece of advice would really come from, which is around engage in active listening with your employees. Many times leadership groups get in a room together and they make decisions based on their preferences or their biases around the way things have been in the past. Instead of actively engaging and listening to your employees regularly to find out what issues, concerns, questions do they have, so that you can then develop programs and put in place mechanisms to help them succeed and feel more comfortable. That active listening piece and engaging people in regular dialogue about these things and bringing them into the decision, that's really where a big piece of feedback that I give to a lot of companies and leaders is just to take the time to really listen to your people. And if you address their concerns, you're going to be so much happier because of what you get out of them and how they feel about you in return.
I love that. And, listening is huge. I'm in a really high level mastermind group. We all reach down deep and invest really heavily into this program because of the work we're getting achieved in it and the kind of people that are in the community, and just the benefits are ongoing. One of the best business decisions I ever made. But one of the things I love about the program is several times since I've been in it, and I've only been in it since last October, the leadership of this group has come to us with, all curtains down. Everything is game to say, what are you unhappy with in the program? What would you like to see differently? What can we change? What bothers you? What is not good? And what else would you like to see? And what could be better? And listening to the whole community kind of share, well, I didn't like this, or this was hard for me, or, it isn't like a complaining session. It really is a session. How can we dig deep as a community and really have the leaders design the program based on what we want? And that's what you're talking about have happen for your groups. So I love that tip, is really listen and be okay to hear with your leadership style is aggressive and not comfortable, and it's not welcoming, and I don't feel open to come to you when there's a challenge, or I don't get there isn't enough appreciation and accolades built into the system. When we achieve a goal the company has, or when we do this, it just, okay, next, and we just go to after the next task, instead of having some sort of recognition, celebration, appreciation in those benchmarks, so that we can take a breath and get the energy to tackle the next big goal together as a team. So just being really open to hear that, I think, is a fantastic advice. Now, all of you watching, and you have been watching for so long, now is the time again to hit that share button, because one of the reasons I believe industry experts are profound is because of their focus on what is happening in their community or the world at large to make it a better place. So Kim, share with us a cause that is close to your heart.
So I actually just started another venture where we're going to help homeless vets get rehoused. So
I love
that is going to be one of my focus points right now. And, I feel like they served our country. They deserve to get the help they need, and to be able to have a roof over their head and have all these things. And I think that's near and dear to my heart, because, I see what's happening, and I see people living on the streets, and I see all these things that are going on. And the fact that we have a country and we are safe here is because of them. And I think that we need to really step forward and help. And, I work with a woman who has a nonprofit for vets and helps with different services for them. So we partnered up. So I'm looking forward to that new venture, and that's going to be my new little focus going forward now. So yeah,
I love that. My son is active duty Army, and he has he's Red Beret Special Ops, so he has put his life in at risk for all of our benefits. Many times he's come back from missions where not the whole team has come back. So I love that. And they do get a certain level of care and support when they're alive, active duty, and they're actively working. But as they, retire, and, sometimes things change, and there's so many that need that support. So that is a beautiful cause. So when you hit the share button, you could inspire someone to put time, treasure, and talent into a cause similar to what Kim shared, or you could inspire them to put time, treasure, and talent into a cause that they care about, or you could inspire them just to be kind to someone. So you have the power to inspire someone today just by clicking that button. Please put in the comments the causes that are close to you. We would love to hear about them. Tom, how about you? A cause that you care about?
Well, first, just let me say I agree with Kim 100%. I think that's a great cause, and I think it's a tremendous focus area, because she's right. We can't do the things that we do in this country without the service of those people. And be sure to tell your son thank you for his service on behalf.
Absolutely.
From my end, I care deeply about the organization ASPCA. It's the pet cause, abandoned animals. I tend to have a soft spot for particularly dogs. I am a dog person myself, and it just seems like they were put on this earth to just love us and be happy. And so I just have a particular soft spot in my heart, because when they are abused or left behind, they don't have any context for why, and I just because of that soft spot, I tend to give and work with that organization, and there are many other great organizations that have similar offshoots.
Well, and pets are known for being an integral part, and animals in general being an integral part of healing, and even healing from trauma, or the different traumas even vets experience, having those animals involved in their healing process and their therapy for children. And it's just really powerful what an animal can bring for, healing loneliness, going into the different nursing homes and different medical facilities when people have terminal illnesses, and just, lifting the spirits of those. And what a fantastic idea to have, an annual puppy day where a few puppies come into the office and just love on and care and receive love from an office. How fun would that be, and how exciting would that be for the employees as an experience? So anyone who felt comfortable around animals or wanted to participate could go into the lounge and snuggle with a puppy, lift their spirits. It does make them giggle. Hey, that's a great new idea. I'm just going to say that's all.
There's such unconditional love. I have 2 rescues myself, and we were foster parents, and I'm a 2-time foster fail, and they call us foster fails because I can't get rid. I keep them because and I'm telling you, like at the end of the day, just like my one dog will put his head on the pillow next to me and put his arm around me and just like put his face next to mine, and you know what? Whatever happened that day just goes away. Because that love is they just want you to love them. They don't expect anything else but you to take care of them and love them. Right. And like you said, Jessica and Tom, that, they help in so many different ways, and we can utilize them and for a lot of different things, especially, comfort. And I every day I just get my hugs and kisses. I love it. It's, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I love that. All right. Everybody watching also knows I am crazy about books. I collect them. I like the audio. I like the old school paper books. I know I'm planting trees, but I just love books. And I especially love books that help improve me as a human and help me grow my business and have success. Those excite and fascinate me. Now, I also enjoy books that are just where you can get lost in the story. But today, we are gathering because we are almost at 1,000 industry experts globally that we have featured over the years, almost 8 years running this show now. And we are creating the ultimate book list of all of the books that our guests have suggested and written over the course of the years. So Tom, share with us a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business.
Yeah, so I would say the book Work Rules by Laszlo Bock. He was the head of the people function for Google. And in the world, right, in the first 24 years of the 21st century, Google has really been the world standard when it comes to the employee experience and successful organizations. And his book really talks about how they see people not as a function to slot them in and just get things done, but really sees people as the individuals that they are. And that one of the reasons that Google was so successful and has been with people is because of the way they designed programs to meet the people where they were. And they weren't afraid to question the assumptions of the past when it came to offering rewards or how they compensated their people, or even the non-traditional benefits that they gave, like free meals on their campus, to a point where they recognized right away, hey, these young coders, it's expensive to live and work and all that, so it's not going to hurt anything if we just give them free food. And we bring interesting speakers into the campus and they can talk to our people. So I just really found his book interesting because the way that he was able to see the world and get one of the largest companies in the world to do this, it showed you whenever I talk to organizations, the amount of times that Google is brought up as the North Star of companies that do this well. So to me, the impact was because you could see how by doing it in one company and doing it right in one company, what that could do to set the standard for everyone else. And so that really just set my mind to work around what was possible.
I love that. Tell us again the name and the author, the book, the name.
Work Rules and it is Laszlo Bock.
Okay, very good. I'm going to say, and I know you've already heard of these books, but based on your industry and what you do, anyone watching, other fantastic books. Matter of fact, our guest last night on our interview series suggested Who Moved My Cheese? a fantastic book on helping your community and yourself embrace and enjoy the process of what change brings in the world of success. And the 1 Minute Manager, which is, I believe, a fantastic leadership and management tool when working with and valuing people. And Grow is by the past global marketing executive from Procter & Gamble. He wrote the book Grow, and his name slips my mind, but he wrote a book, and they did a study of the top 50 companies and what made those 50 companies brilliant and amazing. And much of it had to do with how they interacted and cared for and what their systems and processes were around their people. So, Tom, if you haven't read Grow, I think you would find that a fantastic read.
Absolutely.
So, Kim, how about you? You've got a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business?
So one book that I love to read was called, because I'm a salesperson, so people don't want to be sold. So I had this book that somebody recommended to me. It was called Ditch the Pitch. So people don't want to hear your pitch, basically, right? So people want to know that you're not just there to sell them something. So I've learned over the course of my career is that you need to get to know your client or the person you're working with on a more personal and understand their pains and what is triggering their situations, and getting to know somebody and having them understand that you do care about them and that you do want to help them, and you're not just there to be a salesperson, right? Just to sell them something. So I think that was a pivotal point in my career when I learned, when you start a position, I started working out in years ago in Aflac, and, they teach you all these scripts and all these things that you need to say. But I found that when I just talk to someone like they're, an everyday person, and, I want to understand, what's going on with them before I sit there and say, okay, well, I'm going to sell you this plan, and you need this plan, and you need this plan. And, that really didn't ever work for me. But when I got down to people trusting me, building trust, I think is so key when it comes to any type of business. Doesn't matter what you do. Is building a trust with your client that, you're there for their best interest. They're going to want to work with you. They're going to want to do things with you. When if you're there just to sell them something, they're not going to listen. They don't really care. And I keep clients. I've had clients for 15 years that will not leave me because they know I care about them and I'm always looking out for them. And I think that's so important. And this book really helped me understand how to better deal with people instead of just trying to be a salesperson. So it was a great book, and it definitely was something that I had read early on. And obviously there's many other books that I read over time, but this really was a changing a pivotal point in my career, learning how to talk to people.
And what was the name of the book again?
It's called Ditch the Pitch by Steve Yastrow.
Okay, great. I always have the guests repeat it twice so we don't miss the name of the book.
Yeah.
Now, I would believe that one of the challenges, and this is something I've recently been actually working extra hard on in my own life and researching, is mindset. So sometimes what keeps a client stuck and what you're trying to help them work through and solve that puzzle isn't the dollars and cents themselves and the numbers. It's their money blueprint in their mind. And I would love to suggest to you and to your community, if you haven't read it already, a book called Millionaire Mindset. I think the last name of the author is Ecker. He is outstanding. And in that book, he actually breaks down the 17 ways high wealth individuals think and how to reprogram your blueprint thinking. So that was outstanding. And then there's an author, and I don't have his name either, but he writes a series of books that I think, Kim, you would just eat them like candy if you haven't read them already, because they'll really just amplify what you can provide for your clients. And if you're like me, you're always trying to be that better version of yourself for your customers, but and good for your customers too. He writes Fix This Next. He writes Clockify and Pumpkin Patch. He has a whole series of books, but they really are on that next success level. And I don't know if I have it right here or not, but there is another book that I need to give you because it is really connected to breaking down the knowing of your numbers. And it was fantastic. I was in a book, I'm in a book club and we do different books all the time. Right now we're doing Dean Graziosi's Millionaire Habits. We've done Atomic Habits. We've done The One Thing. We've done Power of Focus by Jack Canfield and a ton of others. But this was not like someone I heard of before. And she wrote this fantastic book really about knowing and taking hold of your numbers. And she has this whole piece that, again, just another great useful tool and amping up our game as professionals. We're trying to amp up our game all the time to be the best resource for our customers. So reach out to me later. And don't worry, if you're listening, I will make sure the team adds that to the comments and the description and the notes. So you're going to get to know what the book is too. It's not a secret. But when I pull that, I'll make sure we share it everywhere, and I'll make sure I get it to you too, Kim.
Great, thank you.
If you're watching and you're thinking, wait, I'm an industry expert, I could improve someone's personal life, I could help them grow their business, well, I would say to you, reach out to us and I'll have our team give you the directions of how to get yourself on the show. And if you are an industry expert, you get to be someone else's hero and mine and introduce them to our team and us and the show so that we can potentially feature them as well. So here we are. This has been another great Profound Professionals interview series. But before we say goodbye, I am going to snag our guests for one final piece of information or inspiration to share with you. Tom, what do you have for us?
There is a quote that has always meant something to me. I can't remember the name of the person, but it was somebody who had survived many years of struggling. And the quote is, "Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling." And I really believe that as somebody who's had, we're people, right? We all have tough moments, tough years, tough times. But I really, truly believe that no feeling is final and no bad moment or good moment is final. And reminding ourselves of that bigger picture is always important, especially during those down times. So that is a piece of advice that has always worked well for me. And I love sharing it when I can.
So, totally beautiful quote. You dropped out just for a smidge of it. Can you read the quote in full one last time for us?
Absolutely. So the quote is, "Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final."
No feeling is final. I always think of this too shall pass. So if it's not pleasant, it'll go away. And if it's wonderful, hang on to it and absorb every minute with the concept of this too shall pass, So hang on to the good moments and don't hang on too tight to the learning moments, we'll call them. We won't call them, I like to call them puzzles. Everything is a puzzle. Puzzles are fun and solvable, and people buy puzzles, so that means there must be some value to them, and from all puzzles we'll learn something and grow farther, I hope. So that's beautiful. Thank you, Tom. How about you, Kim? We need a final thought.
I gotcha. So, similar to what Tom was saying. One of my quotes that I love a lot is, "You will face many defeats in life, but never let yourself be defeated." So, I've obviously in my life, as we all have, had those moments where we feel defeated and we feel like, life is just punching us in the gut. And, we can let that overtake us or we can overcome it. And I've learned over the years, that if I just sit there and feel like I'm defeated all the time, I'm never going to move forward. So I use that as a learning tool and as a stepping stone to the next point in my life. So we all have to, feel those defeats, and then we all learn from them and we move forward. And it's how you move forward that defines, where you go and how successful you are. So
That's right. That's right. I love that the world and others and situations can take everything from you, but they cannot take you from you. So that is where we have success. So, so it has been great having Tom and Kim on. I hope you've enjoyed being on the show as much as I've enjoyed having you both. And until next time, always, I say to you, choose joy. So, in all things, in all your goals, and everything you're doing in life, choose, decide, commit, and take action. Be kind to yourself, everybody out there, and be kind to each other. Bye bye.